Hi guys, my name is Taha, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the importance of creativity in education. Okay, now before I start my presentation, I just want to share with you a little story from when I was 10 years old. So we were sitting in our grade 5 English class, and our teacher said, everybody get up and form a single file line outside of the classroom. And him being our teacher, we obviously obliged, formed this beautiful single file line, which he looked at and said, sit back at your desks. We went, we sat down, and we were really confused. Why did we just get told to do that? That was really weird. And our teacher said, well, why did you just do that? And we were 10 years old, so we were like super puzzled. We're like, we don't know what's going on. And he looked at us very seriously and he said, you are no one's sheep, okay? Just because somebody tells you to do something does not mean that you have to blindly follow it. Just because I'm your teacher doesn't mean that you have to do everything I tell you, because I didn't give you any good reason to do that. And for the rest of the year, he emphasized the importance of individuality through creative thinking and creative assignments that forced us to think outside the box. And this impacted me very much, which is why I'm here right now, okay? So growing up, I noticed the enormous emphasis that was placed on all of the non-creative aspects of education. And I realized that all of our academic journeys follow this specific system, okay? And this system involves graduating from high school, completing your undergrad, and now more commonly, completing whatever grad school program you want to, okay? And this means that creative activities such as music, creative writing, painting, and acting or dramatic arts are all subordinate because they aren't directly benefiting the system. Okay, it means that even though you might have a desire to pursue these activities, because the system is discouraging you, it's making it more difficult for you to pursue those activities because it's not a priority, and that makes you the system's sheep, okay? And despite the fact that people may say that creative activities are unimportant, my presentation is going to be all about why that is absolutely incorrect. A study was done in a Texas high school that actually showed that students that were involved with creative extracurricular activities had higher SAT scores than those involved with athletic extracurricular activities and those who weren't involved at all. So it's not just about doing something that isn't directly academic. There is something special about these creative tasks. And on average, these creative students had SAT scores that were about 51 points higher than their athletic peers. Okay, so there's something there, and there's something innately special about this. These activities also help you develop transferable skills. So, okay, throughout high school, I was very involved with my school's theater club, which meant that I'd be coming home at really late hours, like 8 p.m. because of rehearsals, which made my mother very upset. Okay, she was worried that it would hinder my academic progress, and I was very determined to prove her wrong. All right, and being put in this situation actually forced me to develop my time management skills, and I ended up getting good grades, which made her really happy. It made me really happy, and 5 years later, those time management skills that I've picked up are still helping me right now, which is super great, and it's one example of these transferable skills. Another example of these skills was shown in a business class in Portland State University, where the professor implemented the use of dramatic improvisational techniques and exercises to help the presentation skills of their students. Okay, and so what these entailed were students having to think kind of on the balls of their feet, deal with unexpected things being thrown at them, and learning how to improvise in uncontrolled situations. And students reported a higher degree of group trust and a greater sense of community in their classroom. And when they were asked to rate their satisfaction, they had an average score of 4.7 out of 5, which is really high. So not only is this helping these students, but they're really happy with the process, which is an extremely important aspect of it. Okay, so the mental health of students. This is something that's very, very prevalent today, right? Especially because we're always talking about getting rid of that stigma around it. Now, unfortunately, a lot of universities don't have the right or enough on-campus resources, which is leading to a lot of students suffering from mental illnesses more than they need to be. A common symptom of this is a loss of hope. Interestingly, students that are participating in creative extracurricular activities have been reported and shown to have greater aspirations. So these students are actually actively and positively thinking about their futures. So they're equipping themselves with the kind of hope that you can really only find within yourself, and it's letting them be happier people. Now, creative activities, yes, they do benefit students' mental health, but creativity interventions have been shown to help the mental health of older adults. So an example of one of these creativity interventions would be a group of adults sitting in a group discussing a theme such as love, and then writing group poetry based on love, and then individually writing their own little poem about love. And researchers actually found that these old people were able to better identify their feelings, and they were more accomplished. And so all of these positive things were being generated out of these simple activities, and it was clearly helping them. So it's really great to see that this doesn't just apply to students. It's something that can kind of reach beyond the scope of what we're talking about here. So what do you do? Okay, so to all the educators in this room, whether you're a professor or an intro psych TA or whatever you do, I encourage you to encourage your students to be creative and think creatively by implementing these kind of activities in your curricula. So whether you are a kindergarten teacher or a university professor, your students will leave your class with higher grades, they'll leave your class with a better mental state, and they'll have just a higher sense of self-fulfillment. Okay, humans have an innate desire for creativity. We have created language, technology, and culture. Okay, and our innate desire for creativity is what has made us the most powerful species on this planet. So why deny ourselves that innate desire and that innate right? And as I mentioned before, this doesn't just apply to students. So not a single person in this room can say, this presentation doesn't apply to me. So that means that you should pick up a paintbrush, go paint a picture, go do an acting class, go sing karaoke badly in your room. I do it all the time. We're lucky because we live in a day and age where even if you don't know what that thing that you love is, you can figure it out. We have the internet, we have YouTube where you can learn these skills in like a day, and our resources are essentially limitless, so why not take advantage of them? Okay, and if we take the right steps, we can change the system, and we can live in a world that acknowledges the importance of creativity. And we can live in a world where no one ever has to be a sheep.